Hello, and thank you for watching the first in a series of status of the game for Rank Warmaster. In these videos, I hope to show you the current status and the progress of Rank Warmaster, and obviously what the game's all about. So without further ado, let's start. Rank Warmaster is a PC space combat simulator where players compete to take over the solar system one planet at a time, all while building cities, designing custom ships, and researching or stealing new technologies, either in single or multiplayer game modes, be it PvP or co-op or a mix thereof. Set in a full-scale solar system with accurately sized planets, players attempt to amass a force capable of defeating their enemies, including the invading Alpha Centauran Empire, but players only start with a fighter and a builder bot. So, step 1, take over Mars. One of the more interesting features in Rank Warmaster is damage system, where each piece of damage is done on a segment by segment basis rather than the entire ship. This allows us to do more interesting things with the shields and the armor, such as destroying individual systems where you're targeted, as well as literally blowing through a ship from one side out the other and hitting another ship behind it, which I'll show a little later. Also, in most space combat games, it's kind of you versus the universe, and you're only really controlling one ship. In this case, you're controlling a fleet. It's not that there's a background, they come with you, and it's rather necessary, actually. There's no loading transitions between high orbit and low orbit at all. Realistically, the entire game is one giant presence. We're just moving the camera around to where things are happening. There are fully customizable ships, from fighters to capital ships. This means you can put a capital ship gun on a fighter if you want. It will be able to move around very much. The performance changes based on how you build these ships. Now, the enemy has this ability too, which allows them to constantly change out what they put to the field, which makes engagements that much more interesting because you really never know what's coming at you, which is kind of the point. That way, it keeps the constant battling rather fresh, rather than always recognizing, oh, I recognize that unit, I know it's capable of. In this case, it's always new discovery, both for what you can design and what the enemy's going to design. To support that, there is a vast technology web that not only controls the weapons, the engines, the reactors, the armor, the shields, even the buildings for that matter, so that all the different things that you can build in the game are all from this web of discoveries that allow you to constantly improve what you have. Also, obviously allows you to steal other people's stuff if they're going a different direction within that web. As I mentioned about the buildings, the big thing is that you can actually build cities. You have to. That's where you mine resources, is where you research new technologies. That's, you know, where you can drop down turrets and such like that. So you have to expand your empire if you wish to grab more resources and therefore territory. You can also delegate responsibilities to the computer AI, meaning you can, if you don't want to deal with the day-to-day management of a city, have a mayor AI do it. If you don't want to deal with the tactics of taking over an enemy city or destroying an enemy fleet, you can have an admiral do it for you. If you really want, you can even have a Warmaster AI, which is top of the food chain, which designs ships and organizes budgets and things of that nature. So you're going to have as much control or as little control as you wish, which gives it a lot more flexibility, so you don't have to micromanage everything. You can delegate. The way the multiplayer works, actually, is that it's a mix of co-op and PvP. The idea being, as I mentioned about the AIs, as a human player, you can slip yourself into any of those roles. And so you can come in and come out on the same side, or defect and decide to create your own side if you so wish. Now, one of the other things to help with the flexibility to be able to handle this kind of thing is there is an RTS interface that allows you to basically grab entire fleets and send them off to go do whatever you need them to do, or to tell your AIs, hey, build a city here, that kind of thing. Um, so you can really almost live the entire game in the RTS interface if you never want to pilot a ship. The main focus is still piloting a ship, of course, but basically if you don't need to, you don't have to, kind of thing. There's easy mod support within the engine. This is done partially through the scripting engine. There's an easy script parser that can allow you to build your own scenarios. It can allow you to build your own campaigns, and any other, you know, even UI changes and things of that nature that needs to be done. You can literally just take a mesh, drop it into the silhouette directory, and all of a sudden it will show up in the ship builder, which is how you actually build ships. And so you could, as a running joke, we were going to drop in someone's head in there and then put lasers coming out of their eyes and pulses coming out of their teeth just for amusement. But it shows how much you can actually really do with this. Which also means that modders out there could easily take any of their favorite sci-fi franchises and make ships, make them true to how they're supposed to perform, and make a mod that way, and they can fly them around and create scenarios. Completely out of the box. The weapons that are represented in the game are your standard pulse weapons, which are kind of typical for a space combat game, but also beam weapons, which, while have been done before, this game really focuses on the fact of having a constant energy stream at your enemy. And of course there's missile weapons. The game does realistic space physics on a full-scale solar system. One of the last things that kind of makes it more unique is the power systems within the actual ships themselves. Meaning, as you draw power from the reactor or whatever power source you have, the performance of the ship changes. So how quickly your weapons replenish, how quickly your engines fire, that kind of thing, how well your shields work if you have them, can be easily be adjusted through your power systems, and you can put more focus on one thing or another as you see fit. And it's not just meant to be something in the background. The idea is that in its final way, we actually want to have that an integral part of how you actually play the game.